I want to talk to you about the sequence counts for just a second. The sequence counts are about to play out again. Now, again, tell us when price exhaustion happens. Over here, we had a 13 count. It marked the very day of the top here in the daily time frame for Bitcoin. Over here, we had the 9 count. It marked the peak after the day of the top. Here we had a 9 count. We had price exhaustion to the downside. We got a counter trend back up to the 50-period moving average here and then over here. And gave us a trend extension that completed a 13 count down buy signal down here. We went a little bit lower than the 13 count, which is often the case. Sometimes the 13 and 9 can mark the very day or day after the top or so. Other times you get it and you go a little higher, a little lower. Here in this case, a little lower. We've got the 50 curling up now. We've broken the downtrend. We've broken out of overhead resistance for our double bottom pattern. Okay. Now, again, we can push up and come back and back test this level, come back up, back towards the 50 or the 200 period moving average. Horizontal resistance now has turned support. It's likely we're going to get another push higher towards 100,000 or just overthrowing 100,000, and then you're going to get some kind of pullback towards the 50 and the 200. And as we pull back, then we're going to resume the advance after we get an ABC correction, and the 50 will end up getting back above the 200. Again, the death cross over here, again, that was likely marking the bottom right here. Often it does. Either you get it with the bottom shortly thereafter. Times it can lead to a major correction. Other times it can lead to a longer-term bear market. In my opinion, this death cross is likely marked the bottom at 74,000 at key horizontal support. Now we've risen 29%. We will likely rise more than that, again, towards 100,000 or just overthrowing it and pull back. Bears will proclaim it's over. The people that told us we were going to crash down here, these are the people that told us this rally was never going to happen. And we're now up 29% off of the lows. Pull back, and then we'll get the wave 2, and then we're going to move to try to take out 109,000. But I want to show you this count because these counts have been pretty amazing. Not perfect, okay? Just tells you when prices are getting tired. Here we saw the 13 count, but then we still went lower. Oftentimes that is the case, but then we've rebounded and we've moved much higher than where that 13 count formed. We've moved well above the announcement of Trump's Liberation Day, the announcement of the reciprocal tariffs. We're well above those levels. We're above our 200 period moving average. So, and we've broken out the downtrend, overhead resistance, beautiful things happening with Bitcoin. But we got a 9 count here. Do you see the 9 right here above this bar? A few days ago. The 9 count completed, but bar 7 is the high of the count. Okay? It's not a perfected sell signal. There's no P9 above it because it's not a perfected signal yet. The 8 or 9 bar has to be the high of the count. We're consolidating sideways. Right now you've got a doji, at least so far. The session has many more hours before we close. It's likely we're consolidating and we're going to push out and go higher. Okay, and again, 100,000 here or well above it. 101, 102, 103,000, and then you're going to get this pullback likely towards the 50 or the 200, probably below the lows where we're at this week with Monday and Wednesday. You'll complete a 5-leg push higher for minor wave 1, maybe here or at higher levels, and then you're going to get this ABC type of a pullback, okay? Maybe something deeper, maybe coming back and back testing the trend line, could be. Know that we go beyond this low right here, but you could. And if we pull back, again, it could be this horizontal support is where we come to. This 50 is going to continue to rise. Eventually get back above that 200 period in a golden cross, marking the correction as a counter trend and marking the bottom. We're going to be looking for a perfected signal. The fact that we didn't close above bar 7 with bar 8 or 9, you're likely going to get a perfected signal when you push up. Now, you could push up and you can have several days of being above this area, but then, again, to get that perfected 9 count sell signal, but then I think you're going to get this pullback. So, again, I think we go well beyond. We're just under 29% higher off of the lows. I think you're going to go well above 30%. You might go 33, 35% off the lows, might even go closer to 40% off the lows. I don't know that we make it up to 40%. That would take us over 104,000, but it's probably going to be somewhere in the 30s. 3%, 35% higher, maybe 37, something like that. Somewhere towards 100,000 or above it. It may not be as high. Listen carefully. Are you listening? It may not be as high as a percentage if we can't clear the 100,000. Say we just get up to 98 or 99,000. You're going to probably try to clear 100,000, but I think you're definitely going to move up towards it. So just be aware as we're going sideways right here, right now. Coin now trying to turn back to positive. Again, as we're going sideways, we're getting, handles of indecision and we're just consolidating. We're likely going to get another pop higher. If we do, we'll get a perfected 9-count sell signal. We'll probably go higher for a few days and then start a pullback. We got the bottoming signals with Bitcoin. Then we saw at Bitcoin's average price at the 50-week moving average at horizontal support. Then we saw momentum signals begin to turn bullish, and now we've seen trend signals turn back to bullish. I am getting warning signs that we could top out very soon. Going sideways, so the signal's showing up. Now maybe we get a bigger pullback, possibly. Maybe it's not done yet. Maybe it is done. Maybe it's wrapping up right now. Saying, hey, I should be looking for a bigger pullback that's coming. Could still pop to new highs. Doesn't mean it's over. It means that a pullback is coming. But absolutely incredible signals. The bottoming signals on the 7th and the 9th, the day of launch of the reciprocal tariffs. Got a bottoming signal, and 2 days before it on that Monday, I talked about these signals as we were selling off. And again, for tonals, we're about to crash, and what happened? We bottomed. And I told you 74,000 was the key level and that we'd likely bottom. I told you we may go a little bit lower, but likely not going to stay below that level. We ended up bouncing off that level as we talked about those days back on the 7th and the 9th. And I'm getting warning signs that we could see a top soon. Beautiful bottoming signal here. Just looking at the shifts in momentum. Topping signal right there with the lower high, but look over here again. We got this topping signals warning it was coming. Same thing over here, warning it was coming. We still went higher before we got that bigger pullback. Same thing here, ended up going higher. I think you're going to see the same thing, and then we got the bigger pullback. I think you're going to see something similar to that, and that was after the forming the December top, and we got that warning sign ahead of time. So again, I think that again we're going to get a little pop higher towards 100,000 or just above it, but then I think you're going to get a bigger pullback, very similar to what happened in December. Warning signs that a bigger pullback is likely going to be coming in the not too distant future. What absolutely incredible signals marking the reversal. And again, the bullish signal here getting back and flipping the cloud to green, the bars flipping back to green, absolutely incredible signals. The signals I warned you about back at the bottom. And again, the bullish divergences that formed on indicators. We had one over here, and then we had a triple bullish divergence right here with this low right there. Same thing here, got warning of a short-term top. We have now corrected sideways. We'll probably get one more push higher, but then again, we're going to end up getting a bigger pullback. Absolutely incredible signals, again, marking the very day of the bottom. Marking the tops back in December and January. I think this is a warning sign right here. I think we're consolidating. May get a bigger pullback, but you're going to get the pop higher before you get a bigger retracement. I think that will complete our first minor wave higher. My signals absolutely nailed the bottom. Predicted the rally that happened. Absolutely incredible signals. Again, here, a bottoming signal right after. Pause of the reciprocal tariffs. We pull back a little bit, and then we had this move. And again, above the ribbon, getting the breakout of the downward trend line, breaking out above overhead resistance. Now, again, the trend line or this horizontal support could act as a testing area for any pullback. Again, when we had the bullish signal the last time at the last 33% sell-off, we bottomed at 40. 48 or 49,000, pardon me, a higher low at 52,000. We began to see the signals turn bullish. We got the green bars, and then we pulled back to the ribbon and it had flipped. So again, maybe we go higher and eventually pull back to it and it's going to come higher, maybe towards horizontal support, or pull back just below that level. But again, this is what I think is going to happen. And again, the guiding light turning yellow, the light, get it, yellow. And again, last time we had this happen with the green, this followed. I think you're going to see something very similar to that. Amazing calls. Green bars all the way up, flipped it right there. Red bars all the way down. Because I have good indicators, proven to be correct 97.1% of the time. Absolutely amazing signals. And again, I create a lot of my own indicators. Here, again, it marked the exact turn with bars flipping back to green, and now it will confirm a new uptrend when we start flipping the ribbon back to yellow, probably go higher, and then eventually pull back at some point towards the ribbon, which could be at higher levels by the time we reach it. It could be just under this double bottom confirmation line, or pushing above the trend line, or could reach it at a later date if we don't pull all the way back to it. But again, absolutely incredible calls. Amazing signals. Please support the channel with the link directly below. That allows me to be able to provide you this information. I'm just sharing you the charts that I use and look at constantly each and every day that I use to make my trading decisions with Bitcoin. I like this kind of cutting edge information. Just take a moment to support the channel. Just follow the link. It'll take you to a secured site and you can donate any amount you want. I choose to do that rather than have sponsors. Most YouTube channels have sponsors. Sell you stuff. They want to send you to exchanges and get you all leveraged up to wipe you out. I don't want to do all that. They want to send you to gold sites that want to only charge you triple commissions. Shady deals on the internet. I want no part of it. So I just ask that you do what you can to help out. But if you find this information useful, please let me know that. Let me know you want me to share this information with you, taking the time to do this. Follow the link below. Support the channel. Anything helps. I need to hear from you in order to make that work. So let me know if you like my charts by supporting the channel. Thank you. Absolutely incredible signals. Again, momentum turning bullish, the trend flipping with the breakout. Absolutely amazing signals here. My maestro. Consistently bearish. Tried to flip it here. Couldn't do it off of that first low. Then we formed the double bottom. And then we flipped it here with the breakout of the downward trend line and the breakout above overhead resistance right here. And again, my absolutely incredible signals. Here is my trend track. Name my indicators. I create a lot of indicators, so I name them to try to keep them all straight. Look at this, absolutely incredible, marking the downward trend with the breakout here of this trend line connecting, just slightly excluding the shadow here, connecting this level and this level. Started to see the bars turn back to bullish. The breakout of the other trend line here, we saw that surge, and eventually the breakout of the double bottom pattern. That's a confirmation line. Again, we can pop higher and possibly pull back to this level, go much higher, above 100,000, towards 101, 102, 103,000, and then pull back. Certainly possible. We see something like that happen. What could do it? Trade deals being announced. Escalation day with China, with the tariffs being paused or reduced. Happen. We're being told it's not going to happen. It is going to happen. People that are telling us it won't happen are the same people that down here were telling us that Bitcoin was going to crash, formed a bottom, telling us this rally was never going to happen. We've now rallied up 29%. These are the same people pulling in at the top, telling us Bitcoin's going to go down. So again, I think we get another pop higher, but then I think we'll get a bigger pullback and a Fibonacci retracement for wave 2. Wave 1 will get completed with one more push higher. Right now, it's a Wednesday session. We've got about 6 more hours left in the trading session. We've had coins sell off a little bit. We had the GDP come in with a negative number, a lot better than what we were being told it was going to be by the Fed. The Fed was way off with their estimate. Coin is flat right now, down just under 0.1%. Been going sideways, consolidating into the 10-period moving average, a red line right there. Now back above the 100 period moving average. That's a very good sign for Bitcoin. We're probably going to get one more pop and then probably get a pullback. And the pullback could come back beyond the lows that we are reaching right now, today, and for the last few days here. Monday's low and today's low. We can get one more pop and then we can pull back to the 100 period, to the 200 period, even a 50 period moving average, certainly possible. I think we have a 5-leg push higher. I think you're going to go towards the 100,000 area or overthrow it, okay? And then you're going to get this pullback. The bears are going to tell us, oh, the bears had told us at the bottom we were about to have a crash. Everybody was running around saying we're going to have Black Monday crash in the stock market and with crypto, and it was over. 74,000 was major support, and that a bottom was forming. Bears, the herd, the experts, they all told us we were going to see the crash. No way this rally is going to happen. And I told you we were going to bottom down 74,000, which we did. You can break it, but you better get back above it. And I told you again, Bitcoin's average price, a 50-week moving average. I talked about this at great length and detail. I told you we had these bullish divergences here in the daily time frame. The herd, the bears, very, very depressed, the herd did, very, very depressed and very bearish at the bottom. Bears cheerleading for a collapse, and the opposite happened. Now, a rally that they told us wouldn't happen. When we peak out here, likely getting wave 1, minor wave 1, completing it, we'll pull back and get wave 2, and maybe we go into the cloud, maybe we get a deeper back test towards the 50 period, towards the trend line, or horizontal support was resistance, now turned support. This is where the January low was that we broke. So this is an important level of support. Maybe we just back test that level. Maybe we get something deeper to the 50 or the cloud or the trend line. Fibonacci retracement. But again, I think you're going to get a pop, and then I think you're going to get a drop. And maybe the pop is bigger. Maybe it goes above 100,000. The inverse or the double bottom pattern measures to about 103,000 or so. But we were told this rally wasn't going to happen. We were told that we were going to collapse at the bottom. The people that told us all this, when we start to sell off, they're going to say, okay, here it comes. And we're going to get a higher low, and then we're going to go make new highs and push well above 100,000 and clear this 109,000 area. We get above that area and we start going sharply higher. Then the bears will finally throw in the towel. This is the bottom. This is the rally of giving us the final phase of the final phase of the blow off top. This is not the time to be bearish. When I called the December and January top back over here at the trend line of resistance in the weekly time frame, the herd, the experts, everybody was so bullish, told us there's no way Bitcoin's going down. These same people down over here told us there was no way it's going up. Herd piled in at the top, and you had a bunch of them selling the bottom. That's what the herd does. Extremely bullish at tops, extremely bearish at bottoms. A double top over here, it played out. Now we have a double bottom. It's going to play out. It's likely kicking off the final phase of the blow-off top. In my opinion, we're going to new highs. Like I said, in order to be extremely bearish, we had to take out 74,000. We didn't do it. We bounced off Bitcoin's average price. We bounced off the 50-week moving average. We bounced off horizontal support. That's bullish, not bearish. And I expect to push higher. Now, again, some important earnings later today as the stock market closes, and tomorrow as the stock market closes, we'll have big tech earnings. The jobs report later in the week. We'll have some possible deals announced this week with trade. That can give the stock market hope. That can give Bitcoin hope. Trade tensions and tariffs are going to go away. Expect a de-escalation day any day. The herd that told us that we were going to collapse at the bottom, that got this rally telling us there's no way China comes to the negotiating table, no way Trump pauses the tariffs, reduces the tariffs on China, no way we get de-escalation, and again, going to happen. Does, again, we'll end up getting a bigger rally. Now, whether that's right here, now that gives us this final push higher, and then we pull back, or whether we pull back, get a push higher, pull back, and then we hear that it happens after we pull back, remains to be seen. Again, it is going to happen. but I think we get one more pop higher here. I'll be watching for Bitcoin to eventually reach extremes back above 70 here at some point. We could see that if we get a rally up, we could go above these levels we've already reached right here, that kind of giving us this consolidation sideways. Similar to the consolidation over here before we got this big pop up. And again, we've risen by 29% so far of the lows. I think you're going to double, more than double. Bullish divergence has played out on the MACD and the RSI. The MACD is still in positive territory. Again, we'll probably see another pop higher. The histogram will probably tick higher, and then eventually we'll see the MACD roll back over. But I think it will remain in the positive region in all likelihood with the pullback, or we go slightly negative with the next pullback. But I think that, again, towards that 100,000 area, or maybe overthrowing it, and then we'll get some kind of pullback. MicroStrategy and Bitcoin doing the same thing, both bouncing off these 50-week moving averages, both breaking out of bull flag patterns. And my trend line moved on me. Sorry about that. I had that big surge, about 10.5% last week, and bouncing off this trend line. We slightly violated the trend line, redrawing it from this low to this low. We slightly violated it on Bitcoin. But we're bouncing off our 50-week moving average. We're bouncing off Bitcoin's average price. We're bouncing off the horizontal support right here at, this is just below 74,000. I've talked about, again, that the previous sell-off right here, we bounced off. We came down to the low of the previous high. Over here, we came down to the low of the previous high, and each time we bounced. And that's where this bottom formed at 74,000 for Bitcoin. So, again, I think we go higher. I think that could last on into August, September, maybe as long as October, but then Bitcoin's going to top out. And when it does, a wrecking ball is going to be taken to Bitcoin. And when we get up there, remember the feeling down here, how much negativity there was and pessimism, and it was just a lot of people were depressed. We dropped 32%. Over here, we dropped 33%. But here, again, they told us this wasn't going to happen. No possible way it can happen. Same things that they said back at the 2021 top. They said back at the March peak, no possible way it's going to pull back. And you're going to hear the same thing. This is why I'm a trader. I don't care which way Bitcoin goes. It can go up, it could go down. I can make money either direction. Right now, I'm bullish. But when it goes higher, I'm going to get extremely bearish. Reach my objective target in the coming months ahead. And then I'm going to flip the trade. The herd won't do that. Whales will. You got to think like a whale. Like a moon boy, not like the herd. They're going to do what they did in 2021. We're going to go up there and they're going to start screaming, 300,000, 500,000, a million, no, 10 million. Ride it all the way back down. Don't be one of those people. I'm bullish now, but I'm going to lock in gains. Powerful gains when we go higher, and then I'm going to flip the trade. The weekly time frame, again, I think you're going to end up forming a massive negative divergence. This divergence gave us this sell-off. The next divergence that we form, and we may get one right here, in a brand new one, or build upon this one. The next divergence that we form in the coming months ahead is going to give us a reversal. I think you're going to see the MACD turn back up here and form a massive negative divergence. And we even had it on the MACD here in the weekly time frame. We even had this divergence right here where we had a lower high on the MACD, but we actually went higher, slightly above the December high. Going back to the daily chart here, I want to show you this 5-leg push higher that I was talking about. I want to show you that and why I think that we're going to get one more push towards 100,000, maybe overthrow it, maybe as high as 103. I don't know if we go that high, but we very well could. And then I think you're going to get this pullback. Here it is on the 4-hour chart, and I have circles right here, so I had to mark my subwaves here a little bit differently. This program, it doesn't have the circles. Here again, I think we have the intermediate wave 4 complete. I think you've got the wave 1, the wave 2, wave 3. Now I think we're getting the wave 4, probably wrapping it up, and now I think you're going to get the wave 5. Maybe we pull back a little bit more, certainly possible. bigger sell-off earlier today, and we saw buyers come in. You're getting bottoming tails here in the 4-hour time frame. And again, I think you're going to get this push up. Maybe right here I've marked just at that 100,000 area, 99,000, 100,000, or maybe we get something bigger. Maybe we get something bigger like what we had over here and get something a little bit bigger and go up to the 102, 103, 101,000 range, overthrowing 100,000. Then you get your pullback and your sell-off. So again, I talked about in my last update the Elliott wave count in great length and detail. This is it. This is what I was talking about. But again, I think you're going to do this, and then I think you're going to pull back, get a Fibonacci retracement, and I think you'll get wave 1 and 2. And then I think Bitcoin is going to soar to new all-time highs. But I think it could go up to 100,000 or just over 100,000, 101, 102, 103,000, something like that. Then I think you get your pullback. I think we're going to go try to take out 109,000. So it's going to be exciting. You're going to get a larger divergence right here. We have these smaller divergences here on the MACD, and up here on the RSI, we have these smaller divergences give us this kind of pullback where we went sideways. Okay, a sideways correction. I think you're going to end up turning back up on the RSI and either building upon this or getting a brand new divergence, one or the other, probably building upon it. And I think you're going to surge up here, and you're going to get this larger divergence, and then you're going to get the bigger pullback on Bitcoin, because I think we'll be finishing the wave 1. So again, I'll be watching for a divergence right here, another larger divergence setting up on the MACD and the RSI in the 4-hour time frame. This is what I think is going on. I talked about the Elliott wave count my last video, talking about a little bit here. Again, I think we get another pop. I think we pull back, but then I think we eventually make our way higher. This area takes us up towards 170,000 area. You'll at least reach 150,000. Could go to 160, 170, 175,000 very easily. That is not an unrealistic target. It would look like this in the weekly time frame. I talked about this again, coming up to my upper boundary of the channel. This is my target level, not a date, not a number. Whenever we reach that, if we get there quicker, Bitcoin will be lower. If we take our time reaching it, going into August, September, or something like that, then Bitcoin will be higher. The sooner you reach it, the lower Bitcoin's price will be to top out. The longer you take to reach it, the higher Bitcoin's price will be. But that's where I think Bitcoin's going to top. I think that will complete the primary wave 5. I think we'll have these 5 intermediate waves. I think we are now, we've completed intermediate wave 4 in red. I think we're getting intermediate wave 5 here in red. That's unfolding in 5 minor waves. And then I think Bitcoin tops. Extremely bullish right now. Very, very bullish. But then when we reach these levels, objective target, I'm going to get very, very bearish. I'm going to flip the trade. I'm going to take profits, and I'm going to flip the trade. Hear me get very, very bearish. I'm very, very bullish. Bitcoin in the monthly time frame. We're closing out the month. In the video just before the close today, which will close out the month. And right now, again, we're up big time. Where are we bouncing off of? Oh, gee, the cloud and the 10-month moving average. That's the red line right there. Again, we bounced off the 10-month here. We bounced off the 10-month here, slightly violating it, but we bounced off of it. The same thing with the 50-week moving average. Bitcoin follows the 10-month moving average in the monthly time frame. In the weekly time frame, it follows the 50 to separate the bulls from the bears. When you're above the 50 and holding above the 20, it does follow the 20 very often. 50 weeks separates the bulls from the bears. The 10-month moving average separates the bulls from the bears. Then in the daily time frame, the 100-day moving average. Bitcoin follows the 100-day moving average. We've had divergences form on the histogram and the RSI, but again, really had a class B divergence right here where we went higher, but we got really almost these 2 equal peaks right here. Nice divergence on the stochastic. It's likely we're going to recycle back up and go make new highs with the bounce off the 10-week moving average. Up 14.21% for the month. And again, up 29% off of the lows. Off of our 10-week moving average here, though, we've risen about $11,700. And we were told no way this was going to happen. We formed these larger divergences these divergences gave us the sell-off of 32%. I think you'll end up forming a brand new set of divergences or build upon these to complete the topping process for Bitcoin. But again, this is bullish, bouncing off the 10-week moving average, bouncing off the cloud. This is bullish, not bearish. We did back over here at the low after the first 2021 peak, and we went up and we made new highs. I think you're going to see the very same thing happen, but I think we will go and exceed the 109,000 peak, going well beyond it.